Test 1, 2, 3. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Wow, I love all this energy. It's so great. And those of you who are coming in at the last minute, you have to sit in the middle section because everyone else has gone to the sides and the back. So I know exactly when you arrived by where you're sitting. You were the last. Anyway, thank you so much for being here this morning and for being at Huntsman Cancer Institute, making incredible contributions each and every day. It's really thrilling for me every year to have a chance to meet with our community during Founders Week and share a little bit of what's happening at Huntsman Cancer Institute, but also, look back a little bit at our founding history and the people who have contributed along the way, just as you are today. We've been really, really blessed at Huntsman Cancer Institute to have an incredible collection of faculty, staff, community members, donors with us from day one. And I want to give you a little bit of a flavor of who some of them are, because it is our 25th year this year. And it's amazing to me to look at where we are today and imagine that this was an empty hillside just 25 years ago. It's absolutely incredible. And I want you to feel it in your bones, how incredible it is, and how amazing what we have all accomplished together is, but also how important what the work ahead is that we're going to do together to really continue to make a difference and deliver a cancer-free frontier. We are, of course, all here because cancer touches everyone, second leading cause of death worldwide, leading cause of disease-related death for children. We lose in the United States alone 1 person every minute of every day. These are daunting statistics, but we are making a difference against this disease. We're doing it through science, we're doing it through cancer care delivery, we're doing it through reaching more people and finding more ways to get to people where they are and to prevent cancer before it starts. I'm not going to be able to tell you everything that we have been doing and everything that we have accomplished in the last 25 years in the short amount of time we have together this morning. But every year, our senior leaders have seminars at HCI in specialty areas, whether it's science, clinical care delivery, administration, education, community engagement, et cetera. And there will be opportunities for deeper dives into all of these topics throughout the year, so I hope you'll all participate in those. But what I want to do today is give you like a big picture. And actually, I got to say, a lot of times I focus on the last year, but this time, because it's our 25 years, I'm going to spend some time really reflecting on the last 25 years and where we started, how we got to where we are, and where we're going. And that's an exciting story. So, I want to spend time today talking about some of our founders as well. I realize that I've had the privilege of working directly with many of our founders because I was actually here when Huntsman Cancer Institute opened its doors. And sometimes I kind of take that for granted, that I was here when those early decisions were being made. And I appreciate that you can, if you're new to Huntsman Cancer Institute, you can look at where we are, and hopefully you're saying, this is a great organization, things are going really well, there's so much to do, I know how I can contribute. But you're probably not appreciating that there were challenges along the way, and decisions that had to be made, and leadership that had to be assumed, and there were hard times, right? Like for every organization and for every big dream. And so in a way, I kind of want to, I'm not going to dwell on hard times because that's not my nature, but I do want you to know that we are an organization that is more than just amazing. We're also really resilient. And we face challenges, and we face them together. And we exceed everyone's expectations, and hopefully even our own, along the way. So just keep that in mind. That's like our DNA, that we have that kind of core of resilience and drive and optimism and commitment and dedication. And there's nothing like past performance to predict future performance. So I'm here to say, hold on, because we're going places together, and it's going to be really fun, and it's going to have a huge impact. So I'm going to start with Jon Huntsman, because he was amazing, and he was our founder. He was a cancer survivor. He got prostate cancer as a relatively young man when he was the head of a major corporation that became a public company. He survived that cancer, which was initially prostate cancer. He's had several cancers throughout his life, but he survived that cancer. But he said, "I had no idea what to do. When I heard those words, 'You have cancer,' I have no idea what to do." He didn't know where to turn. He was affluent. He was well connected. He didn't know where to turn, and he knew that if he didn't know where to turn, it must be way worse for many, many other people. And he said when he recovered from his cancer, "I'm going to do something about this." And he decided to dedicate his life and his wealth and his energy to eradicating cancer from the face of the earth. And he started that by founding Huntsman Cancer Institute. He stood on an empty hillside, right? Like, look, if you look behind us, you can see more empty hillside, but this whole hillside was empty. And he said, "We're going to build a cancer campus here, and it's going to have cutting-edge research. It's going to have compassionate, state-of-the-art clinical care and a learning center to educate patients and the public about cancer risk prevention and care." I mean, this was kind of unprecedented. I mean, this was a layperson, and he's going, not only are we going to deliver clinical care, which is what he had experienced, but we're going to link it to top science, and we're going to link it to community engagement. He was very intuitive, and he was really, really had an amazing internal compass as well. So it's nice to hear these stories and see him in two dimensions, but I want you to hear him speaking. And so the Huntsman Family Foundation actually has this really nice video, and I'm just going to share you a short clip from that so you can kind of get to know him a little bit. And then I'm going to tell you more about some of the other people that worked closely with him in the early days to sow the seeds that led to Huntsman Cancer Institute. So first, my reason for being was to help others. I mean, that's the kind of guy he was. Just amazing, dedicated, and caring person. So here we go. Welcome to introduce you to Jon Huntsman.
But the business could leave tomorrow, and that's okay. Just don't take away from us the privilege of the opportunity to help others.
I wanna leave my footprints on the sands of time. Know there was something that meant something that I left behind. When I leave this world, I'll leave no regrets. Leave something to remember so they won't forget I was here.
If one can't utilize their wealth to help conquer disease and to help the homeless and to help those who suffer, then I don't know what joy they derive from it.
Is that amazing? I mean, really, let's have a round of applause for Jon Huntsman. I can't tell you how much I miss him, because he used to come and visit me all the time, and we always walked down the hall. No matter how much time we had, we never had enough time, because he stopped and talked to every single person. He knew every single person. He also stopped to pick up every piece of lint off the floor. And sometimes that took some time. And I mean, he was so kind and so caring and so dedicated to this place. And I just, you need to know that that's our foundation. Our foundation is service to a cause greater than ourselves, a belief in being able to deliver something that seems impossible, right? And that's what you do each and every day. So keep doing it. We've had some amazing leaders and I wanted to share a little bit about the first three on the left here, who were the founding leaders at Huntsman Cancer Institute. In 1994, when John and his family and Karen and the family made the transformational gift to establish Huntsman Cancer Institute, Ray White became the founding director. He was at that time the chair of the Department of Human Genetics and an amazing scientist, member of the National Academy of Sciences, distinguished molecular biologist and geneticist. He had discovered a number of inherited cancer susceptibility genes, including contributing to the identification of APC in colorectal cancer, as well as BRCA1 and BRCA2 in breast and ovarian cancer, P16 in melanoma. And he was the founder of Huntsman Cancer Institute. He worked really closely in the early days in 1994, between 1994 and 1999, before this building was even built, to kind of set in motion the grand vision for Huntsman Cancer Institute, its scope, its mission, its purpose. And Steve Prescott was by his side the entire time. The interesting thing, and this is where organizations have to make sometimes they face challenges and they have to make hard decisions. In 1999, literally right before the building was open, I was on sabbatical in France. I was supposed to be moving to HCI in 2000, right when I got back from my sabbatical. And Ray was the director when I left. And when I came back, Steve was the director. And what happened? Well, we had a challenging moment for Huntsman Cancer Institute, where a big chunk of funding that we thought was going to be available to build the comprehensive cancer center, including the clinical program, disappeared. And they had to make a decision along with John Huntsman and the family. What were we going to do? We're going to keep the broad, expansive vision with this huge challenge ahead of us, or we're going to change the vision and size the vision to the resources rather than to the purpose. So you can tell where I'm going with that. They decided not to size the vision to the resources. They decided to size the vision to the purpose. And so instead of, reducing the scope to a world-class Cancer Genetics Institute, which we would have been able to build easily as well, not easily, but we would have built it, we decided, the group, the team, the leadership decided to stick to the purpose and continue on the path of a comprehensive cancer center. And Steve Prescott was the person who really led that charge and kind of set in motion what today seems like second nature to us, which is that we will always have a seamless integration of research and clinical care. That is part of what defines us. That is what provides hope. That is what provides progress. And so, he really set that in motion and did so many other things as well. In 2005, he stepped down 5 years later, and Randy Burt became the interim director. Now, Randy Burt was another amazing person. He made many contributions as well. He was really sort of the father of our population sciences efforts. He was somebody who was a gastroenterologist and really worked very closely with high-risk cancer patients. He also brought into the fore really, really important work with our learning center and community engagement efforts, as well as our patient navigation efforts, our outreach to American Indian communities, which were at that time and still are significantly underserved with poor cancer outcomes. So then in 2006, after Randy was director for 1 year, I was named the chief executive officer of HCI, and it has been such an honor and such a privilege to serve for all these years. But I got to tell you, the way that these guys solve the problem of not having enough money was to be very creative, and they went to Washington and they got a targeted appropriation for $100 million to help us build the cancer hospital. But it was a loan. It was a forgivable loan, but it had not yet been forgiven. So I arrived, and it was our federal government, so it was a relatively high interest loan, $100 million high interest loan. Everybody's like, whoa, why did you take that loan? We were building the hospital, you know. We had just built the hospital. The first phase of the hospital opened. That was one of Steve's major contributions. First phase of the hospital opened in 2004. We had this $100 million forgivable loan. I was brought in, and it was like, Mary, job one, get this loan forgiven. So, you know, I can't tell you how many people, I don't know if any of them are still here, but so many people worked on this load of paper that we submitted to CMS the first 6 months that I was here. And I wouldn't be here today if we had not gotten the forgiveness of that loan. But we did manage to get the forgiveness of that loan, and you know, we pressed on from there. So you know, this is the point that you know, you don't know all these stories. You look and you just see what's been built, and you go, because all of you make it look easy, right? But we know it's not easy. Every single day, people are facing challenges. They're coming up with creative solutions. They're innovating. They're picking themselves up when they're feeling down, and you know, thinking about their purpose and how they can make a difference each and every day. So keep it up, because that's part of our DNA as well. It's that determination and drive and belief, and you know, commitment to the grander purpose, making the biggest possible difference. As John Huntsman said, why not? I mean, what would be the point if you weren't trying to do something that's really meaningful? So, you know, along the way, in addition to these incredibly talented people, so many, too numerous to name all of them, who contributed, we also evolved a lot our vision. But every single time it was a big goal. I mean, the first one was like, we're gonna have a cancer campus on this piece of dirt here. That was a big goal. It was audacious, it was bold. Lots of people were saying, no way. Then, the next one was, we built the first phase and the second phase. We're gonna be a National Cancer Institute designated comprehensive cancer center, the most distinguished accolade you can get from our federal government for cancer research and care, integrated with cancer care. At that time, you know, now we think that this is just the water we swim in. We're a distinguished comprehensive cancer center. But the other thing that the first year that I was named the CEO, in addition to that $100 million debt, we had just had a review by the National Cancer Institute, and the National Cancer Institute did not think we were doing very well. And they put us on diet funding. We got, instead of 5 years, Donna's nodding, she remembers this. I mean, some of us remember these things. We got put on diet funding, so instead of 5 years of funding, we got 3 years of funding, and they cut the funding in half. They were trying to tell us something. And they said, come back in 3 years. And I came in, and I had 2 years left before we had to come back in. And this community, like, whoa, rose to the occasion and said, we're gonna get this done. But that was like a resurrection moment there, right? But we got it done, and everybody rode together so well, and everyone was so aligned and so committed, and there was so much united effort and so much commitment to excellence in all we do, and we did that. And that was amazing. And now, last year, Neely Ulrich, or a few years ago, 5 years ago, we got an exceptional, and got the highest score we've ever gotten. We just keep getting higher and higher. Pretty soon there's not gonna be any higher we can go, then we just have to stay there. But you know, so now we're a cancer campus, an NCI designated comprehensive cancer center with an exceptional rating. So what, let's just stop? Sit there and enjoy where we are? No, we are going to deliver a cancer-free frontier. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about that, because that is another very gnarly, ambitious goal with big challenges, but the progress that we're making is palpable already, and we can see a path to delivering a cancer-free frontier, which will mean so much to so many people. So already, we're the official cancer center of the state of Utah. I already mentioned we're the federally designated comprehensive cancer center. I didn't mention this, but for the entire Mountain West. I'll say more about that in a minute. We've got top ratings for research impact. We're top hospital for cancer. We have more than 4,000 faculty and staff today. We have more than 300,000 patient visits every year. We have more than 1 million donors. Thank you, Huntsman Cancer Foundation. We have more than 500 learners in our laboratories and clinics. We are making a difference in so many different dimensions each and every day. We are the only National Cancer Institute designated comprehensive cancer center in the entire Mountain West. This is a big challenge, and it's a huge opportunity. This is a gigantic area, over 500,000 square miles, and we are the go-to resource for all of those people who live so far away and are so much counting on us to help them in their time of need. We do this by having affiliate hospitals to expand our geographic reach. We collaborate with the federally qualified health centers, and we're now coordinating with the governments of all of these states and working on a concerted Mountain West cancer plan, so we can all work together toward that goal of delivering a cancer-free frontier. It's really exciting. It's daunting, and it's going to cause us to have to innovate and create and do things differently, but I have total confidence that we can, because that's what we do. I've already mentioned that we're a world leader in cancer genetics, and I just have to mention this because some of you may not know how much Huntsman Cancer Institute contributed to the real transformation in how we think about cancer. When the National Cancer Act was signed in 1971 by Richard Nixon, we thought cancer was a single disease. That's when the National Cancer Institute was established, and a commitment to cancer research at the national level was established. We thought cancer was one disease. People were talking about a vaccine like a polio vaccine, and we were going to eradicate cancer. It was from work around the world, but very importantly, work that was done right here in Utah, that we identified a variety of inherited cancer susceptibility genes. And it started to become clear that colon cancer is not the same as breast cancer, is not the same as melanoma, is not the same as ovarian cancer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now we understand that cancer is not a single disease, it's more than 200 different diseases. And this work that was done right here at Huntsman Cancer Institute was part of the pioneering work that transformed our entire view of cancer and helped to usher in what is this very exciting era of precision medicine. We weren't alone in this, of course. This was a worldwide effort, but this was a significant contribution to this major, major revolution in how we think about cancer. We've had a history of investment, and I guess I just want to show this slide because, we started with our first building in 1999. Here we are now in 2024. More than 1 million square feet, but the point is, every time we put a shovel in the ground, we've just finished building something else. So if you look at this, 1999, this was completed. We put a shovel in the ground for the first phase of the cancer hospital. This got completed. We had a shovel in the ground already for the next one. And this is how we meet the need. We anticipate the need. We lean into the need. We go where the need is going to be needed. And that's what we do, and that's what we're doing now also, as you'll hear in a moment, with our new campus that we're planning in Vineyard. Here's evidence how we meet the need. Back in the day, in 1999, this is the number of unique cancer patients that were served at the University of Utah, 2,413. We opened our first phase, which just had ambulatory services. By the end of that, we were at about 10,000. Then we opened the cancer hospital, bump up to 15, to 29, to 45, and now over 60,000 unique cancer patients. And we are planning to get a shovel in the ground. We just opened the Kirk building last year. Congratulations to all of you who made that happen. It's amazing. And it's unbelievable. You go in there and you think it's been there for 20 years. It's unbelievable how lively it is, how vibrant it is, how much of an impact it's having in just 1 year. Well, next December, stay tuned. We're going to put a shovel in the ground for our next campus because we're going to be full and we're anticipating the need. We're going where the need is and we're meeting that need. In cancer research, I can't tell you about all the exciting discoveries, but I'm using this as a surrogate for incredible activity and incredible talent in our research arena, moving up from $85 million of contracts and grants for cancer research in 2018 to over $124 million this year at a time when research funding has been flat or declining. The National Cancer Institute pay line is something like 8% now, and we are getting more grants from NCI each and every year because of the dedication and talent and creativity of our scientists here who are making a difference. 8,000 patients enrolled on treatment and non-treatment clinical trials this year at Huntsman Cancer Institute, more than 30,000 unique patients recruited to Total Cancer Care, which is our protocol for patient engagement in research. This is amazing contribution and productivity, and our science from our labs and our science from our population researchers, it's moving to the clinic, it's moving to the community to make a difference through investigator-initiated clinical trials and community-engaged research. You should be so proud of everything that you've been doing. It is making a difference each and every day, and it's moving the needle in cancer outcomes. I want to talk a little bit about another area where we're making a huge difference and we have potential for huge contribution, and that is in facing this challenge of this large area that we serve. 5 states, 500,000 square miles. Check out how much of it is light green. Those are frontier counties, less than 8 people per square mile. We have done studies here at Huntsman Cancer Institute in the last year that have directly demonstrated that people who live in rural and frontier zip codes have inferior cancer outcomes. We have coined the term distance as a disparity, and that is actually getting national traction at the National Cancer Institute and with the cancer moonshot from the Biden administration out of the White House. This is so important because we're shining a lens on a disparity that no one actually really knew existed. And this is what keeps me up at night. The people who live far away from us, who don't know about us, or who feel they can't get to us. We just reached out to those communities, those frontier communities, with a first ever health assessment survey that was led out of our research teams. And we learned a lot about the needs of those frontier populations. First of all, 88% knew little or nothing about clinical trials. That is a huge barrier if you're a cancer patient, because we know that if you are at a place that offers clinical trials, you have better outcomes. If you don't know about clinical trials, you're not going to try and get to a place where you have the opportunity for better outcomes. So this is incredibly important. 55% of women were not current in their breast cancer screening. Only 35% thought they had access to the medical specialists they need. So for us, this is the great challenge, one of the great challenges. How do we overcome distance as a disparity? We are doing so much in this space already, but we are going to do a lot more. One example, Huntsman at Home. We're bringing Huntsman Cancer Care to patients in their homes. That has reduced rehospitalization, it's reduced emergency department visits, it's reduced cost, and it's improved quality of life for both the patients and the providers. We are continuing our mobile cancer screening and education services and are going to have a second mobile cancer screening bus available very soon, meeting the needs of people across every county in the state of Utah. We have developed here, our scientists have developed a digital health intervention for smoking cessation called Ask Advise Connect that increases engagement and reduces smoking better than any other intervention known, and it's now recommended by the CDC for use around the country and around the world. We are bringing navigation to our Mountain West communities, to the underserved populations, to the adolescent and young adult populations, American Indian populations, rural and frontier and Spanish-speaking populations. we're committed to access for all. And this is the first American Cancer Institute, American Cancer Society grant to establish navigation for frontier and rural populations in the world, and that grant is here in the Mountain West at Huntsman Cancer Institute. So I want to take a minute to talk about our core culture and to engage you a little bit in talking about our core culture. And I know we're going to run out of time because we always do at these events, but I want to take a few minutes to talk about our core culture, which is defined by our principles: patient and community first, united effort, and excellence in all we do. This is our secret sauce, you know, our passion for our mission and our drive toward that, delivering the promise of that vision of a cancer-free frontier. But this is our secret sauce. Our commitment to patients and community first, united effort, and excellence in all we do. I can tell so many stories that I see each and every day, but I'd love to hear from some of you and just share your own perspectives on what you see. So let's start with patient and community first. Can I have a show of hands? Amit. Okay, say who you are. Stand up and say who you are. Maybe we'll run around with a microphone, I don't know.
I've been here for 2 years, and I've been really impressed by how much our staff really bend over backwards to accommodate patients. So just before this talk, I saw a patient. The consult was called in yesterday. The front desk people got the consult, found that I had an open slot, scheduled the patient, asked the patient the patient's family, when it was convenient for them to come. So they gave me a specific time. I went to the front desk. They accommodated right away. The patient also wants to start on a certain day, and I know from past experience that our therapists will bend over backwards to accommodate them in any way possible. So this is something, I just happened to see this patient this morning, but for the last 2 years that I've been here, I just see our staff just putting literally patients first.
Thank you, that's a great story. Gabby.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gabby Silva. I'm with the Office of Community Outreach and Engagement. And as our name suggests, we spend a lot of time with the communities across the area we serve. And whether it's a health fair or a partner meeting, we like to meet our communities where they already gather and where they feel comfortable. Recently, this past weekend, we had a health fair with Alliance Community Services, which services our Hispanic population here in Utah. And this health fair, there were dances and very loud music and performances and kids' activities, and you may not think that that's the best place to distribute health information, but that's where our community is already gathering and where they like to be. So I think that's a really good example of going to the community and meeting them where they're at.
Thank you, that's great. Kevin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin Cheney. I work in finance and administration. I have a friend whose sister is an inpatient at our BMT unit, and last week I got a text one night that she was visiting with her sister, and so I happened to be in the office and decided to go and visit with them myself and meet the sister for the first time. It's a bit of a walk, so it gave me a minute to think about what I might say in terms of reassurance and hope. And I was a bit surprised when I got to the room that I encountered a joyous cancer patient. She shared some of her cancer journey with me, and including the fact that she had been to 7 different cancer centers, including MD Anderson. And from her perspective, the care and staff at HCI were a cut above the rest. And in her words, Huntsman has given me a new lease on life.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, I hope that you're all sitting here thinking, what are the experiences that you hear about each and every day in this category? Thank you, Kevin, for sharing that. Let's move to united effort. Thoughts on united effort? Dawn? Yes. We've got a lot of eager people in the front row.
I'll be fast.
Feel free, you guys, in the other rows.
I'm now nostalgic. 25 years, how cool. And I've been honored and blessed to be part of those 25 years. I was reflecting as we saw this timeline, our first clinical staff meeting, 22 people in attendance.
What year was that?
1999, just as this was opening. In fact, 25 years ago, we were, preparing to open our first clinic here at HCI, our first staff meeting in a room about the third the size of this front area, 22 people, and then 24 years later, 1 year ago tomorrow,
Wow.
we moved our inpatients into the Kirk building. What effort, united effort, since the very beginning. And now we have approximately 2,000 employees in the clinical part of our world if we were to have a staff meeting. So, united effort.
Thank you, Dawn. Anyone else? Alicia.
Hi there. I'm Alicia Finch, the Director of Business Operations, and I was thinking about a story where a patient was so excited. One of my roles is also patient experience. So they were so excited to tell about their experience that they emailed me and did not wait for their patient comment. They wanted to meet with Dawn and myself. So we met them at their appointment, and where they gave us a hug. And they actually are from a different medical center, and they wanted to learn from us because they called this place a sacred place. When they walked in the doors, it was clean. The floors were beautiful. They felt safe. The food was delicious. And they wanted to learn all the things that we do. They knew everybody's name, our EVS workers, our maintenance workers. And they were teaching the medical place that they worked what our special sauce is, what they called it, because they had such a great experience here. And then Dawn actually went down and spent more time with them during their infusion appointment because of our united effort in taking care of our patients. Every single one of us impacts their experience here. That's the experience I thought of.
Thank you.
With uniting our efforts.
Anyone else? Neely. Okay.
So I'm Neely Ulrich. I'm the Chief Scientific Officer and have the pleasure to work with a lot of united effort with nearly 2,000 researchers, staff, and trainees. And I just want to say this is something that brought me here, and it's very palpable and very clear that people really want to collaborate, work together, and strive to achieve a common mission rather than having their own kingdom. And it's a real pleasure to be part of this community, and whether it's on the leadership level, whether it's on the level with our trainees, whether it's part of community outreach and engagement. And I just want to say thank you also for everybody, because we're calling upon this united effort right now a little bit, and Mary may be mentioning this later, by having unexpectedly been asked to move a number of our fantastic teams out of a building and back here. And it's been asking a lot from people who have, and the timeline got shorter and shorter and shorter, unexpectedly. And so I'm so thrilled to see how everybody has pulled together, has been welcoming and ready to, sometimes having to move their own offices, squeeze a little bit tighter. We're going to make the most out of this and have this a fantastic experience bringing our community closer together. And thank you for all you do every day.
That's a great example, this move. So anybody who's moving, thank you. I know it's not easy. How about excellence in all we do? Meredith, it's one of the people who's moving. She still wants to comment on excellence in all we do. That's good.
Yeah, thanks to the team for moving. So Meredith Vihar, I'm the Director of Communications, and I helped edit the CMS loan forgiveness document, so that's how long I've been here.
Yeah.
19 years next month. Mary, I'm going to quote you back to you, if that's all right, in excellence in all we do. I think you tell a story sometimes about you can see yourself as a bricklayer or as building a cathedral. And I think for the communications team, we try to keep that connection of what are we, it's not just a brochure, it's not just a map, MoStar. It's something that needs to help improve patient experience. It needs to help improve, the care that we do. So when we feel connected to that, I think that helps improve our excellence. And I'm really honored to have an excellent team. So thank you.
Thank you, Meredith. That's really beautiful. I do think that I will say to that comment about the bricklayer. We had a job candidate who was coming through about 2 years ago, and that person decided to be a secret shopper before the interview and started wandering around in our hospital and just talking to people. and went up to one of our environmental services workers. It was so. When did we put in the proton facility? That's when it was. That was like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. 3 years ago. Okay, 3 years ago this month. So it was like 4 years ago. It was under construction, and this job candidate goes up to the environmental services worker and says, "Hey, what do you do?" And the person starts talking about the mission of Huntsman Cancer Institute, and then says, "And let me tell you about this new facility that we're putting in over here," and starts telling him all about protons and what this is going to mean for the community. And I was like, that is amazing. So you know, all of you every single day are making sure that everyone who works here is connected to our purpose. They know what's going on, and they can see how what they do each and every day is making a difference. That's what's so powerful, right? Okay. Anyone else on excellence in all we do? Yeah, go ahead, Courtney. Here,
I'm one of the people who represents HCI with the $1 Million Donors. And I had taken my new colleague to lunch at the Point yesterday, and when we were dropping off our plates, the woman taking the plates said, "How was it? How was your lunch today?" So when I went home, I told my family what inspired me was this woman who cares so much about the Huntsman way. It mattered to her that our lunch experience was really important, and there was no doubt in my mind she treats every patient and everyone you that way. And so when I go out and talk to donors, I know that what I'm saying is true, and you are dedicated to this change. So thank you. Thanks for making my job so great.
One more. Where is it? Oh, back there. Okay. Oh, Susan. Great. Hi.
Hi. My name's Susan Sherry. I'm in the Clinical Trials Office, and I'd like to mention our Clinical Trials Group,
Yes.
who goes above and beyond every day. They are a pretty incredible group to support our patients with clinical trials and our cutting-edge therapies here at HCI.
Well over 100 people in our clinical trials office now. I mean, and Susan, you're one of the people that knows John Huntsman also. I mean, really, it's like we have to keep telling the stories. Okay, well, in the spirit of, I know some of you want to get to that lunch, and I want to get you to that lunch before everyone else thinks the lunch is starting. We have this little secret that, I think it's a little secret, that the people who are in here are going to get to go to lunch before the time the lunch is supposed to start. So, so we're going to keep the crowds down, but also, you know, good on you for being here. You're getting a special treat. So I'm going to just say a couple more things, and just a moment to look toward the future and our strategy toward delivering a cancer-free frontier. We're going to do a refresh of our strategy. Our strategy, the last time we did a major strategic planning event, it was 20 to 25. So we're just embarking on a strategy refresh. The leadership, the broad enterprise leadership has come together. We've recommitted to the vision of delivering a cancer-free frontier. That's a vision that has stickiness for all of us and is really motivating. And we've identified 5 strategic pillars, 5 areas of investment and focus that will help to deliver that cancer-free frontier. They include scientific impact, clinical innovation, workforce development, including training across the spectrum for faculty, students, and staff, community engagement, which includes also our commitment to prevention and screening and surveillance and survivorship, and access, something that we've talked about before. Kind of underpinning and overarching all of these and interfacing with all of these is a cross-cutting theme which is fundamental to our success, which we're calling a culture of engagement. And what I mean by that is that we are committed to being a culture that welcomes everyone, where everyone feels a sense of purpose and commitment and sponsorship and appreciation. Everyone is valued for what they bring, and that we are doing everything we can to create the most diverse community here to serve the diverse needs of our population, our patients, our trainees, our communities, as well as our internal HCI community. I want to acknowledge that there's, a polarizing environment currently in our nation, and I know that many of you are really hurting from some of the things that are being discussed. I want you to know that from HCI's perspective, our values and our commitments have not changed. We will be a place where everyone is engaged, where everyone is valued, everyone is invited, and everyone is supported to live up to their personal and professional potential in the effort that we share to deliver that cancer-free frontier. So we're moving forward with our strategy refresh. As I said, we've done the recommitment to the vision, and we've identified the strategic pillars and the commitment to a culture of engagement. And this summer, you'll be hearing from us with a survey so we can get community input about, what are some of the things that we should be doing in the context of all of those pillars that you think would be most important and most impactful. In the fall, we'll be having retreats and sessions to refine the strategic initiatives, and then in winter 2025, launch the 5-year plan in time for our budget so that we can make sure that we are aligning investments of our resources with our plan. I'm going to close with one slide, and we will have a town hall to talk more about the HCI Vineyard project. I actually have a whole bunch of slides following this that I'm not going to do today because I want to get you to lunch. But we'll have a town hall this summer to talk more about it. But this is a really transformational project and strategic goal for Huntsman Cancer Institute to meet the needs of our community. You all know that Utah is one of the fastest growing states in the country. Utah County, where Vineyard is located, is one of the fastest growing counties and regions in the state. Vineyard is the fastest growing city in the state. Utah in 25 years is going to have twin cities. It's going to be Salt Lake City, and there's going to be Vineyard and the surrounding area. And we're meeting the future here. As we have always done, we've anticipated where the need is going to be, and we are going there to meet that need and to serve those populations. This is a really exciting transformational strategic initiative, and part of what I love about it is that it actually is relevant for every single one of our pillars. It's going to have great science with scientific impact to deliver on the promise of digital oncology and opportunities to really find new ways to reach rural and frontier populations, and also, of course, clinical trials. It's going to have clinical care and innovation in new methods to deliver clinical care most effectively, particularly for patients at a distance. We're going to have a focus on workforce development. We already have great collaborations established with both BYU and UVU to further impact and deliver the promise of an association with HCI to more students who hopefully will get captivated, like all of you, about the opportunities to make a difference for cancer patients and communities. Community engagement, we've already been asked by the County Commission to help them with screening and prevention and be a hub in Utah County. And of course, access. We're going to be able to reach more people. So with that, I'm gonna shoot ahead to a word cloud that you guys all put together. We asked you this week for a few words to tell us what makes HCI a great place to work, and here's what you came up with. So that makes me really proud and really happy, and I hope you look at that and feel joy in your work and inspiration about what's to come, and appreciation of yourselves and your colleagues for everything that's been accomplished. You're making a huge difference in the world. John Huntsman would be so proud. I am so proud. So thank you so much for everything you do now. Get in that lunch line before those other people.